Hey, hey, hey! So today we are back with another book review. This one is kind of random. I was looking for something on a website and it was something else. And I came across this book, or it was recommended to me, something, and I read the summary and I was like, I'm a sucker for books, by the way. Like every time we go to Walmart, I'm like, I want to look at the books. I want to buy all of them because a lot of them look really interesting. So, but lately I've been really into young adult fiction. But they had this book. It is called If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin, or Nowlin, however you pronounce it. It's a different book. It has 89 chapters. As you can see, like, it's not super thick. I mean, some of the chapters are barely even a page, or maybe like a paragraph, you know. So, like, the very last couple of chapters aren't hardly anything. So, I read the summary and I was like, this could have been my life when I was younger. I mean, not completely, but I related to a lot of what the main character was going through or what she was talking about. So I was like, interesting. So let's go ahead and read the back. This is obviously paperback, not a hardcover. The hardcover, I will usually read the inside cover, but since this doesn't have that, we're going to go ahead and read the back. So it says, if he had been with me, everything would have been different. Autumn and Finn used to be inseparable, but then something changed, or they changed. Now they do their best to ignore each other. Autumn has her boyfriend, Jamie, and her close-knit group of friends. Finn has become that boy at school, the one everyone wants to be around. That still doesn't stop the way Autumn feels every time she and Finn cross paths, and the growing, nagging thought that maybe things could have been different. Maybe they should be together. And as time passes, Autumn realizes that she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late. So the main character is Autumn, and her neighbor slash best friend is Finn, or Phineas. She calls him Finny. They basically grew up together and they're like best friends, and he kissed her in like the 8th grade and she was really confused. She was like, whoa, what are you doing? And because he liked her, obviously, and ever since then, they're in high school now. They're like juniors going into seniors, I think. You know, they've been part of separate groups at school. They see each other and they're like cordial, and they're neighbors, and their moms are best friends, so they see each other a lot. They're almost like family to each other, but they're not as good of friends as they used to be. I mean, they're friendly, but they're not really friends. This book is it's a very good coming of age novel. I think a lot of us can relate to, you think the first person that you feel like you're in love with, you think that's your true love and you're always going to be together. I think we all have had that feeling about somebody. If you're older, anyway, if you're like my age, you probably have. Whether that person loved you back or not, I feel like we have always, a lot of us, you know, have gone through that, you know, in your teen years especially. You're kind of discovering yourself and first becoming interested in the opposite sex, and, you know, in a romantic way anyway. And it's an interesting time in your life, very, very growing and changing time in your life. And the things that she goes through, you know, she talks about love, and like her thoughts on love at the beginning of the book are different than her thoughts of love at the end of the book. And I don't want to go too deeply into it because I don't really want to ruin the book too much for you. The ending is incredibly sad. I almost cried. It hits you like you're being smacked across the face. I don't know what the author was thinking. And if you read this book, you'll know why. Or if you have read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This book, it's kind of, it's what you would call a slow burn. Like, there's not a whole lot of, there are some sexual scenes, but it's more than that. Like, it's a very slow story to get to where you want things to be. And then once you finally get there, other things happen. So it's a very good, like, coming of age is something that I think of when I think of this book. She definitely grows up. And I mean, you know, when she starts the book, she's in high school. and I think she's in like a junior, but there's like flashbacks all the time to younger times, her memories with Finn and things that happened when they were younger. And so it's, you know, it paints a picture. It kind of illustrates on both sides. It is from her point of view. It's not from his point of view at all, or anybody else's point of view. It's Autumn's point of view through the whole book, or like a third party observer point of view. It's not a bad book. It's not the best book that I've read, but I mean, it's good enough that when you get to the end, when I got to the end, like I was emotional. I was a little emotional and I was upset, and you can ask my husband. I was upset. I was angry. Okay. I was flat out angry. I'm like, I read all of this for that, but I would still recommend this. I mean, if you want a good read, like, you know, it's a good book. It's worth a read. And it's definitely so much of what she talks about is relatable, you know, for especially I think when you're a teenager, you can relate to that. You know, maybe I want to say, because I think you can relate to that in your older, you know, your adult life too. Some of us won't, you know, some people won't, but there's a lot that she talks about that's quite interesting, and it really makes you think about life and your decisions, your choices. And you know, it's kind of a book where she spends a lot of time questioning, because she's with her boyfriend and she keeps looking at Finn, and she's kind of like, she knows that what she feels for her boyfriend is different than what she feels for Finn, but she can't really put her finger on what that is. She thinks she loves her boyfriend. She's like, I love Finn because he's like family to her, right? And she doesn't really figure out until very late in the book that her true love is Finn. Instead of her boyfriend. And then her boyfriend does something extremely atrocious that I'm not even going to mention because he ain't even worth it. This book got me a little heated. But I'm going to give this book, I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Would I read it again? I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad book. I probably would. I actually probably would read it again. But it's not a bad book. It's just not the best book that I've ever read, and it takes so long to get where you want it to be. For most of the book, you're sitting there like you're reading it and you're like, okay, but get to where. And there were a couple of places where I was like, there's too much description here. Like, this is unnecessary. Like, these words are unnecessary. But still a good book. Would recommend. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Let me know what you think if you have read this book. If you do end up reading this book at any time and you watch this review, let me know what you think. So like if you watch this review and then you read the book, let me know what you think about the book. Let me know what you think if you started it and you couldn't get through it, you know, all of the thoughts. And don't forget that I also will review this over on my blog, which is on my website, beautifullyfearless.com. I have links to my blog. I typically go more in depth on my blog just because for video reviews, I want to keep it a little bit more vague. I feel like those might be a little bit more popular than blog reviews. So if you want something more in depth, then go over to my blog. I feel like that's something where people who, you know, if you want like an in-depth, you want to read a lot and really get into it, that's where it's going to be. So yeah, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions about this book in the comments below. Don't forget to go follow me over on the Instagram. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content is going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank you all so much for watching. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!